Hi everybody, this is Cassie, Elle. I am coming live on Crowd Chat on the Game Crafter. I am going to just make sure that everything is going live, and then I will introduce. Okay, yep, we're live. Oh no, my phone's going off. Okay. I had my phone to make sure that everything was connecting to the Facebook. So everything's working. We're good. Today I have a guest here to talk about his Kickstarter that's going to be coming up in like a week and a half, I believe it is. Adam Wilk is here to talk about his 18-card micro strategy game, Outpost 18. I'm guessing it's Outpost 18 because of the amount of cards.
That's it. Exactly.
So, if you want to go ahead and get started by telling us a little bit about the game itself, and then we'll talk about how you decided to use a game crafter for it and whatnot.
Okay, yeah, sure. Thank you for the introduction.
Yeah. Oh, I have a quick question. Do you have a publishing name that you go by? Because I saw the account on Board Game Geek. You have the game on Board Game Geek, and I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So my name's Adam, but I also my company name is Angry Cyborg Games.
Okay.
So my Instagram is Angry Cyborg Games. My Facebook is Angry Cyborg Games. My Board Game Geek page, I think, is under that too.
Okay.
Adam works too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The title is kind of a long story, but all the designs I've done prior to this one have had that recurring character in there, so it was kind of like a thing that I've always been working on, but this one actually doesn't have it, so go figure. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, tell me about your game. So you have 18 cards, and it's a strategy game?
So basically it's kind of like a take on a classic kind of dueling strategy game. So I guess it starts like a lot of people. I grew up playing Magic the Gathering, in the mid 90s, late 90s kind of thing. I was really into it. And as I got older, it was a big part of my life. And then I kind of wanted to find a way to take that kind of strategy element to card games that I loved and just distill it down as small as possible. Mm-hmm. So 18 cards is kind of a good way to challenge yourself, and I'm pretty happy with how the game has turned out so far.
How did you decide on 18 cards? I know why most people go with 18 cards, but I'm just curious if your reason's the same.
Yeah, I think it's probably a bit of. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, like the Game Crafter podcast and a bunch of other podcasts in the community, mm-hmm. and occasionally that idea has come up as a challenge, as a design mm-hmm. challenge, and originally it was kind of like the design challenge aspect of it, but actually it also is just great for the scope of production, because I have a background in e-commerce and in running my own businesses, so I always kind of wanted to take a stab at the self-publishing route, and 18 cards is just it's pretty easy to cope with that kind of investment. It's not like you're making this $100 big box game. It's something that you can pretty comfortably do out of pocket, no matter the run. Mm-hmm. So,
are you going to go with the hook box that the Game Crafter has?
So actually, what I'm rolling with right now is the envelope packaging.
Oh, okay.
So, which is kind of neat, and it's kind of unique, and the whole game and the instructions kind of fit right in. So, yeah.
Interesting. I don't know if I've seen anyone use that for their packaging before. Are you going to have it sealed with a sticker, or how you?
Yeah, I'm either going to sticker seal it, or I'm going to plastic wrap each individual.
Okay.
Because I have a machine for that at the warehouse.
That's
so
fancy.
My day job is yeah, I do my day job is I run a commercial makerspace, so we do warehousing and all kinds of. So I have all kinds of cool equipment I can use to help along the way. So
that's pretty neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me more about the game itself. I know it. So we have 18 cards. It's strategy based.
Yeah.
Kind of has a So I know it's 2-player. Little bit of a Magic the Gathering. You can get a feeling for it. But I know it's sci-fi though, and I saw the story mm-hmm. is it happens the story is you're at the asteroid belt and there's mm-hmm. limited resources, right?
Yep, totally. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a play on kind of classic sci-fi tropes and just kind of that epic space battle kind of setting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
the retro style is just kind of a throwback to the kind of stuff that I've always grew up with. So alongside the lighting is going to be pretty bad here, but there you go. The style of it. Maybe it's flipped.
No, I can see. I have I'm gonna go to the website because I have your website up so people can see. Yeah.
Totally.
So it's I don't know if the animation is going as well as it's going for me, but it starts with the station core, and I see that other cards get tucked underneath it, so it looks like it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of. Is it a deck builder?
Kind of. Like one of my favorite games is Star Realms. Definitely one of my. Yeah, and like obviously, like that's a sci-fi game too. So there are definitely elements of that in this. It's not a traditional deck builder, but like the pace of that game and the kind of you're building a board, you're building a tableau. So it's similar to a deck builder in a lot of ways. But I always thought maybe not with this game. Maybe another one I'll try to do like a 18 or maybe like 30 card deck builder. 18 cards is like pretty tough for a deck builder, but
it is.
Are
the cards double-sided? I know for a lot of 18 card games they'll use both sides to make the game more meatier, I guess is a way to say it.
So that's one of the kind of originally it was double-sided, and then I opted to kind of streamline it a little bit. So it's actually the top part of each card is a ship. The bottom part of each card is the tableau building the upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
So it has the idea, like the same idea as a two-sided, shrunk down to fit on one single card. The idea behind that was when I started playing with it with testers. When you're trying to build a strategy game, having that sense of like you're building up to a plan, like you have something you're working towards. It's really hard to do without the hidden information, and just having hidden cards in hand is the easiest way and the simplest way to get that hidden information across. So
yeah, I guess that would make it hard to have things double-sided unless you're going to have things like sleeved and then you pull cards out and then you like re-sleeve them, and then that's adding a whole another component that you don't need. All right, so oh, go ahead.
No, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because the more iterations I went through and like the further along I got, the simpler everything became. I'm really sensitive to like really fiddly games. Like I don't like there being lots of stuff everywhere, and like I like stuff being like really
simple,
concise and clean and simple. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's another appeal of the 18 card style, and the also the kind of graphical style I went with too is definitely the clean and simple really works for me. So
yeah, when you have cards that you're like putting out a little tableau or something, it's very like aesthetically pleasing when you don't have cards here and over there and over there and over there and then a couple of little component bits. Yeah, I know I'm the same way. So how'd you hear about the Game Crafter, and where did that, I don't know if that you heard about them before you started working on your game, or if it was after the fact that you came up with an idea and you're like, how do I make this? So tell me about how you found out the Game Crafter.
Yeah. Oh man. So I guess like I've been
loaded question.
Yeah, I guess I've been like making, like a lot of people, making games since I was a kid.
Okay.
When I was in like 5th grade or something, I made this like really ridiculous game based on the X-Files, because I loved the X-Files when I was a kid. Still do. We watched it like 2 weeks ago. Friend for the first time. She loved it until like the last 2 seasons, but that's fine. Anyway, so I've always been like designing games and stuff, and like everyone else, you stick it in sleeves with old Magic cards or whatever, and then I kind of upgraded to like going to Staples in Canada. I don't know what it is around the world, but like a print shop, and doing like a more professional looking one. And someone online recommended the Game Crafter to me, and I didn't really realize that print on demand was a thing.
Okay.
So yeah, and I just actually I kept uploading stuff to the Game Crafter, and then I never really ordered a prototype or really took that next step until I started using Component Studio.
Okay.
And then once I started using Component Studio, it was just like, yeah, this makes sense. This is just like this is perfect.
Was there a learning curve for you with Component Studio, or were you able to pick it up fairly quickly? I don't know what your background is with. I know you said e-commerce, but I don't know if you have any like coding or Photoshop, backgrounds. A lot of times that helps.
Yeah, in one of my like many past career moves, I was like database programming and that kind of stuff
Okay.
way back when. So like I've always been comfortable in that world, but like I'm not by any means a programmer anymore. That's for sure.
Gotcha. But you found it to
or
be
like,
easy to manage and work through?
yeah, oh totally. It was definitely there's a bit of a learning curve. The biggest, I'm sure everyone who tries it notices like it's not drag and drop. Like you have to manually adjust things by the X and Y coordinates and that kind of stuff. In a way that kind of helps keep things more, I don't know, everything is cleaner that way. Like
uniform.
you can be more precise. Yeah, exactly. The same kind of thing we're talking about, how we like everything to be like,
Yeah, exactly.
it works for me that way.
I like being able to move things pixel by pixel, instead of like, I don't know how far I don't want it to be an odd number. I didn't move it 7 pixels. It has to be 6.
Yeah, I see like on like the threads and stuff, people are like, feature request, need drag and drop support, mouse support, and I'm just like, no, don't do it.
Don't do it.
I don't want the temptation. Yeah.
I do like it, but it's never precise. And then I always go to the numbers and I'm like, okay, I got to make it even. Even if it looks visually even, it's not.
Yeah.
I know it's not.
It's also part of like my day job is because we work with a lot of CNC machines, all that kind of stuff. And like the software is the same thing. Like you can do it manually, like you can draw your cut lines and everything, but really you want to be precise, so you type it out anyway. But
true.
Yeah.
So you were already used to it.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, it was a bit of a learning experience. Actually, I'm probably like the biggest fan of Component Studio you can find. So like I will keep plugging it to everybody who will listen to me. But
that's awesome.
Part of that is because like JT has contacted me throughout the, like, I guess I've been using it for around a year or whenever it launched. I don't know, year and a half. How long it's been, I have no idea.
It's been a while.
Yeah, JT reaches out to me and responds to me with all the little things. So another kind of weird thing about this is I do most of my design from an iPad, from a tablet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is surprising, right? I wasn't expecting that either, but I do. And it works great. And originally there was a lot of issues we had, but he's super responsive, and I would just like send him bug reports. He would fix them within a few hours and let me know. And yeah, it was.
That's awesome. So you already knew about the Game Crafter, and then they made the Component Studio. So then you started doing stuff, and then you decided to order something. Like, was it a moment where you're like, all right, I'm ready?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was kind of looking for excuses to do it for a long time. My girlfriend actually, she kind of put up with me while I was doing this all this game design stuff in the past couple of years more intensely, and she gave me a gift certificate at some point. So that kind of was like, okay, sure, I'll order something, and then it's like the floodgates were open, and then so now
that's great.
Now we have cards everywhere. Yeah.
Who doesn't have cards everywhere? I think that's like
a
designer dilemma. It's like, where are the cards? They're everywhere. Which card? They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So when did you decide that you were going to, because I know you're using the Game Crafter to fulfill your Kickstarter. When did you decide you were going to go ahead and do a Kickstarter? And did you already know you were going to use the Game Crafter when you decided to do the Kickstarter, or was it the other way around?
So I used a crowdfunding. I did crowdfunding campaign for my business a few years ago, and that went really well. And I always knew I was going to do crowdfunding for this one, and then it was one of those things where I kept kind of like pushing back the date, and then I just kind of decided I was just going to commit to it and do it. And I'm happy with where the game is at, and I'm excited to get it out there and get people playing it, and just to kind of get to that next level. And I kind of decided with the Game Crafter because I was like I guess like most people, you look for quotes from overseas and you look at minimum order quantities. And I have experience importing from overseas for all kinds of other things too, and I know the headaches that go
Yeah.
into it, and I know the logistical fun that is, and the timelines, and like, and really at the heart of it, it's like this. It's a game, like it's a pocket. It's really fast. I kind of want the campaign and the production to be the same thing. Like I don't want it to be on a boat for 6 months. I don't want it to be like, I just want to like get it out there and get people using it right away and having some fun with it. And the Game Crafter lets me do that. And the quality's great. And yeah, I don't really see any reason in trying to cut my costs by $1 or $2, or I'm not doing this to be rich. I just want
Right.
to hear what I make, right? So
That's awesome. Are you excited?
Yeah.
You nervous?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's always like, oh, what's gonna happen? But it'll be fine. You'll do great.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I can do enough to secure a small run, and then like if not, I'll just refocus on it and try again later. But
Well, it's great about like the size of your game is, it's there's something about 2-player games that when they're small enough, you throw in your pocket and it doesn't take very long to play. Like I call them like restaurant games where you can bring it with your to a restaurant. I think those games do really, really well. So I think you're gonna do pretty good just because of what it is, and people like sci-fi and they also like 8-bit art. So
Yeah,
I think
totally.
you kind of checked a bunch of boxes.
Yeah, that's pretty much my idea with this, was like check as many boxes as I can, and like at the heart of it too is I find most 18 card games I play don't have a ton of depth to them. Where my stance with this was like the opposite. Like I packed a lot of stuff into this. Maybe sometimes
That's
I
awesome.
think maybe too much, but like it's one of those games where it's like after you've played it a few times, you can play pretty quickly, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a game.
Okay.
The first couple games will take you a good maybe double that, like 20, 30 minutes to feel out and to get an understanding for it. So I think it's kind of it's not typical of a micro game. Like usually you pick those up and you're playing right away. This is a little bit more involved. There's a little bit more going on, which
That's great,
I think,
though.
yeah, we'll see.
Well, I like strategy games, so I think it's going to do
Yeah.
great. Do you have any plans in the future after the Kickstarter to do like a crowd sale or add expansions, or what's in the future for you?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I've been looking at the crowd sale platform, and I think that's super interesting. So I might revisit that in the future. If I didn't have this planned out a few months back, I probably would have gone that route. But I can always do that again. So that's the nice thing.
Yeah, I know a lot of Kickstarters will either do a crowd sale and then a Kickstarter, or they'll do the Kickstarter and then the crowd sale later as like a, look,
Yeah.
we got an expansion, so let's do a new thing.
Yeah, totally. And I think crowd sales are. I think once you have as an established audience or an established crowd, I think crowd sale would be better than Kickstarter for most people. But anyway, I don't know.
No, I know
I
what you mean, because, well, for me as a backer, I like to, I mean, adding new stuff and stretch goals is pretty cool, but I also, if all of that's already in there and we can just bring the cost down, then I would prefer that.
Yeah.
So,
And that's like, to be upfront about this like campaign too, is I'm not doing no crazy stretch goals, no nothing too insane. It's gonna have two options. There's the game itself, and then I have like a custom done like premium leather carrying case for it instead.
ooh,
That's it. Just two options, nice and simple.
that is.
Yeah, I'm trying to streamline it. So, and then yeah, in the future, if there are expansions, if there are interested people, if people like the game, then absolutely, I'd love to keep making content for it, and could do like little, 6-card expansions or whatever, or
Micro expansions.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly. And if you could always do it like you said, just throw it onto the game crafter and it's print on demand. So if someone actually wants it, it's a couple. I mean, like what's the most it could be? It's like $6-7 for a good handful of cards, you know. So it's perfect.
Totally.
Those are all of the questions that I had for you about Outpost 18. Do you have anything you wanted to mention? So it's Outpost 18 is out on July 18. What time about do you know you'll be launching? Have you decided?
I haven't decided. Probably in the morning. I don't know. We'll see.
Just like, okay, hit it.
Pressing the button. So terrifying, right? Yeah.
At least it's not a big red button. Then it would make it prices start on. Well, like I said, that's all I've got for you today. Adam, do you have anything else you want to mention before I had one thing I wanted to bring up to anyone that's watching about a crowd sale that's launching tomorrow, but feel free to, if you got any last words.
Yeah. Man, no, not really. I just hope, I hope anyone who's watching checks out the campaign, and I hope if nothing else, you kind of dig the direction it's going and get inspired to do your own thing. And if you do, I can't plug the Game Crafter enough or Component Studio enough and the people behind it and the content they make. So thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that everything was helpful for you, because for me, it's really cool to hear that the things that the Game Crafter puts out are actually giving people, like you said, kind of like that push. Okay, now I can, you know, like you said, how Component Studio kind of gave you the push to go forward. I think that's really cool to hear about. So, well, I'm really excited for you, and I'll be keeping my eyes out for your campaign when it launches at sometime in the morning.
Yeah, sometime.
Before I leave you, I'm going to show everybody your website here real quick. Here's Outpost 18. You can take a look down here at the bottom if you want to find out a little more before the Kickstarter launches and you want to get alerted. It's right there. You can subscribe. And it's also on Board Game Geek. If you want to take a look here, there's some information about the game as well. And before I leave everybody, there is a crowd sale that's happening tomorrow that I just wanted to do a quick little shout out about. It's called Iron Helm, and I'm going to switch back over to the web to show everybody Iron Helm. Press buttons. This will be launching tomorrow. I'm not sure exactly what time they'll be launching, but this is a solitaire game. If you are looking for a game to add to your collection and you are a single player, this is going to be a game that you can take a look at. There's a couple of mats there for you to take a look at as well. So if anybody has any questions about anything, feel free to let me know. Thank you so much again, Adam, for coming on to the show. And everybody who watched the show, I hope you take a look at Outpost 18 when it comes out on the 18th. Again, this is Crowd Chat with Cassie Elle. I'll see you next Monday. Bye, everyone.